Just get the other backup machine running. Okay, so we are going to share the screen now, and we're going to get the PowerPoint up. Okay, that's running. That's running. Okay. All right. So, welcome to the Soul Contract Reading Question and Answer webinar. I'm Nicolas David Ngan of the Centre for Conscious Ascension. So, the purpose of the webinar is pretty much to answer whatever questions you have about soul contract reading. It's very fluid. It can do whatever you want. I'll sort of talk about the work a bit as well, especially for those who haven't seen the work before. So this was based upon requests from people who read the book who want to ask questions, so want to go deeper. So it's a chance to have a chat to me, to go deeper into the work. So yeah, I'm here to answer any burning questions you have about the book and the spiritual philosophy behind it or anything else associated with it. That's why we're here. So that's why I've come, sort of getting back into work after a month off. I had a very busy year teaching last year, so I'm still getting used to working again. So, Yannicki, do you want to say when you introduce yourselves, name, where you're from, and what brought you here, and what you'd like from this? We're sort of setting collective intention here. Then it gives me an idea of how to flow with the work. So this is your webinar, guys. This can pretty much go any way you want. So make the most of it. So I'm pretty hard to get hold of. Okay, Yannicki, it's all yours.
Thank you, Nicolas. So I feel really lucky to be here. I came to today's workshop because I have had a soul contract reading with Antigone, and that was in December. Well, I think it was in 2022. And I got an incredible amount from it. And I listened to it a year later, and it just gave me so much more. It gave me direction, comfort, confidence. It gave me so much. And I definitely feel that, especially since doing like divine healing, I definitely think I will be doing the soul contract reading and applying it with people, just so that they can help themselves too. And yeah, I guess my intention is to kind of manifest getting onto the course at the right time, sooner than later.
Yeah, if you're meant to be there, you'll be there. And
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if you need help manifesting it, at the bottom of the web page, which is, I'll show you this, and we provide some help for that. Just show you. We have this question very often. We go here on trainings. At the bottom of the web page for the training, we provide some help, manifestation. Just go to the very bottom. Where's it gone? Down here somewhere. Okay, so try this webinar here, manifesting your soul purpose. It shows you how I manifest this business. So try that, and you've got your divine healing. So do this. This is a meditation of oneness, and it'll trigger issues which are on the way, because you set your intention, Yannicki, that I'm going to be on the training. It's all paid for. It's all hunky dory. And then, so you focus on that. You don't worry about what your ego is doing, all the garbage it's spewing out and stuff like that. And then what you do is you become conscious of what is triggered by your focus on creating the reality of being on it. Then you take your divine healing and clear it. If you keep doing that regularly, you'll turn up on the training. Okay. That's the way this sort of stuff works. Okay. So
thank you.
All right, who's next? Who wants to introduce themselves and set their and so I get to know you a little bit, find out what you need from this. Okay. Just switch on your mic or your video, whatever you're up for.
Hi.
Okay, just introduce yourself. Who's that? Is that Svetlana?
Yes.
Do you want to
Hi.
switch your camera on so I can connect with you a bit more?
Yes, I was just about to figure out how to
Yeah,
do it.
I'll send you a little window here to do. Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
I
I can
got
see
it.
you now. Cool. Welcome. Where are you
Hi.
from?
I'm from Croatia, but I live in the Netherlands currently.
Yeah.
Um, I actually came here to study, which I thought was on my track and my purpose to study event management. But these 3 years here have been very challenging, and everything kept leading me in some other direction. I was
Yeah.
always very spiritual, always looking for answers and my purpose and everything. But with all the hardships that I've faced in the past 3 years, I've realized that I shouldn't really be in school. So I dropped out. Very long story short. And now I'm planning to buy a €1 house in Italy and build a sanctuary for like-minded people. And hopefully I'm on the right track.
Okay. And how did you find our work, the subcontract work?
Oh, I was in a rabbit hole for some time looking for certain books about soul speak and similar topics, and I stumbled upon your website and I was thrilled with all the information. I ordered the book. I'm still on it, so I hope I don't have to know everything here already. And then I saw you actually offer these webinars, so that was highlight of my month.
Okay. All right. Welcome. So if you just want to stay on the camera, it'd be great. Then it builds more connection. So let's see. Tamika, if you want to join us, you can just switch the mic on and speak, or just message us on the chat. Or if you want to come on the video, which is entirely optional, you can just, well, you've done it. Okay. Then,
Hi, how are you?
yeah, just I'll give you a little, yeah, you can switch your video on there if you want. So,
Okay, let me just start my video. I'm moving around, sorry. I don't know if you could see me. I see this
we
second
just see a
bar.
blank screen at the moment. I don't know
I don't know.
what sort of device are you on?
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Gotcha. Okay,
Yes,
so
I'm
where are you
actually
from? Welcome.
I'm from the Bahamas.
Yeah,
And so I'm in Freeport, Grand Bahama. I've read the book.
yeah.
I've actually signed up for my reading for next week.
I'll
So
look
I'm
forward to talking
excited
to you
for
then.
that.
Yeah,
Yes. I tried to do it on my own,
yeah.
and I had a dominant vibration of 14, and I was like, okay, what is that? And why is it coming up? So I'm looking forward to see what my reading looks like next week.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. And what would you like from this webinar? What sort of intention have you got? Just so I got a feel for that.
Pardon?
What's your intention for being on the webinar now?
Well, basically to understand it, learn more from it,
Yeah,
and to listen as you dive deeper into the book. Um, I was just talking to someone today, and I was talking about the karmic talents and things that shows up. And so when I did mine, I noticed a pattern.
yeah.
And so it's basically trying to see how I could overcome those challenges and then make best use of my purpose in life and move forward towards that goal. And so not to be more aware and not to struggle as much as we navigate, life and challenges.
Okay. Have the idea there. All right. If you could stay on the camera, it'd be great because then it builds more connection. It's up to you though, and I can stay connected to you. Otherwise, I'm just talking to a black void, you see. Otherwise, so thank you. Getty, are you up for introducing yourself and saying what you need from us?
Yes, I can't turn on my camera because my phone is charging and it's pointing to the,
That's okay.
like I can't set it up like this. Yeah, I just, okay, well, first, yeah, I'm Gitti. I live on Tenerife and I have just some questions about some, I don't know, just some understanding questions about the book. Some things that I don't understand, like, yeah, like, that's it.
Okay. All right, we can get to those a little bit later.
Thank you.
Okay. Darian, are you ready to introduce yourself? Only if you're ready.
Hello.
There you
I'm
go. Hello.
I'm from Canada.
Yeah.
I'm very new to this. I'm a homeopath, and then I came across this very randomly, and eventually I would love to put this into my practice
Yeah.
once I learn. I've ordered the book, but I have not read it yet. It came to me very synchronistically one day, and then I just got super interested in it. So I'm just here to learn right now, and and listen. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah. You just want to stay on the camera to be great. It gives me a more warmer, fuzzy feeling that I'm not talking to the blackness here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see, in the attendee room, Maria or Tejinder, do you want to just introduce yourselves? Only if you want to. I know that, do you guys want to say hi? Or we can put it in the chat what you need from this. And it gives me more feel for what you need, but you don't have to do anything you don't want. You can just observe. Tejinder.
Hi there. I am really sorry, but I don't know why it's not showing me the option to put my camera on.
You need to say, except being a panelist, to come to the panelist room, then you can switch the camera on.
Okay.
Just say yes to that little box. Okay. And Maria, if you change your mind, you just put your hand up and I can actually give you the same option. It'll be this one just showing it there if you want to, but it's entirely optional. There you go. I can see you now.
Hi. So I haven't read the book. I came across the website because I had a soul reading done and I was inquisitive about maybe being able to do soul plan readings for others. So the lady who did my soul plan reading sent me your link, sent me your details. And I just wanted to come on the webinar today just to sort of, I don't know, test the water, see what it's about, maybe learn a little bit more than what's on your website. There's a lot of information on there. So
Okay. All right, thank
just
you.
like an introduction.
All right, thank you. Okay, I've a warm, fuzzy feeling now. I know who you guys are. So, right, let's get into this. So I'm going to do a little intro about the work because some people are going to watch this YouTube video cold. So then we'll take your questions, okay? And you guys can ask anything about the book, the work, training, whatever you want. Okay. So let's just get to this. So where's my PowerPoint? There it is. So we know why you're here. Thank you. That's very helpful. So just going to make your webcams just in here so I can see you all. And feel free to ask any questions as we go through. This is very fluid what we're doing here. So the primary principle of this work is that sound is creative. The sound of our name creates our reality. And the biggest thing it creates is our karmic experience on Earth. It's part of our learning. And light workers like you guys, deep down, our biggest yearning is to find out what's my real purpose here. I spent most of my teenage years and early 20s trying to work out, well, what am I doing here? There's something special I'm here to do. I was looking for this gift of service because school, parents, work didn't answer my question. I thought someone's not telling me something. And I couldn't find it anywhere. But I discovered by going to a workshop when I was 30 called the Carousel of Growth with Frank Harper, the founder of this work. And he called it the spiritual numerology, that there was a spiritual gift of service. And I learned how to do the work, and I discovered that was in my karmic pattern. My karmic pattern is to feel unworthy to be loved. So I was hiding away from the world. But in terms of, and the law of attraction would create lots of situations where I feel unworthy, but also disempowered. It's 9 energies. Unworthiness is 3 energies. So the law of opposite was running for me. And they don't tell you about that. They tell you about the law of attraction, and they don't tell you about this one. I learned that from Neil Donald Walsh, one of his books. And then I sort of worked out, I need to turn my karmic pattern into my gift of service by overcoming it, by healing my unworthiness to become a communicator and a teacher. No, I won't shut up. My ex-wife, Amira, says to me, "You've got more words than a woman, Nicolas. I just talk too much." And I also converted my spiritual karmic 9 into becoming empowered so I could empower others. So a journey to claim our gift of service, to answer our question of what is our real purpose here, is by turning our consciousness into our deepest pain and transmuting it layer by layer. And the soul contract reading work lays out exactly what those karmic patterns are, and it shows us how to overcome them. Okay, so most people avoid the karmic patterns for the entire life, so life is pretty unhappy and unfulfilling and very challenging, as you've noticed for most people. So how do we help people discover the gift of service? I mean, there's hundreds of millions of light workers on Earth, many of them, or spiritual seekers, many of them still searching for their gift of service because they are going through a similar experience that I just described. So, in learning how to do this work, you can decode the secrets of this blueprint for other spiritual seekers, which are hidden within the sounds of their birth name, which create their reality in each moment. So they can become empowered, as you've become empowered, some of you, by reading the book and learning how it works, and your different degrees of progression through that. So the soul contract reading work allows you to help others overcome their karma and your own karma, express more of your talents, achieve your goals, and manifest your life purpose. And most importantly, living a much more fulfilling, spirit-aligned life. And if we can come to the end of a lifetime and say it was really fulfilling, I mean, that's a major achievement for a human being. Most people continue going through the incarnational loop and keep coming back with the same numbers a lot of the time. So the broad structure is like this. The soul produces a string of sounds in the form of your name, and we convert it to Hebrew sounds, 22 Hebrew sounds, and we decode it on this gateway of consciousness, the Star of David. And it has a large downward pointing triangle here, which represents the physical side of life, because we, as ego personality constructs, how many of you guys have seen Avatar? Put your hands up, the movie. You've seen Avatar, where you climb into your organic and energetic emotional avatar when you come into a body, and this is the programming that runs your avatar. So your avatar has to learn to walk and talk, get conditional responses, because it's never existed before. We as souls have existed, and other avatars, but you as at a personality avatar level have never had any past lives, just your soul has. So each lifetime is unique, and the contract describes how your avatar operates and what it is here to learn on behalf of the soul. And you have a free will choice to either learn to engage with the programs or avoid them, or somewhere in between. So this is very important. So basically, this is the instruction manual for your ego personality avatar. So you spend the first 5 cycles of 7 years, primarily, it's 35 years, we work in 7-year cycles, focusing on the physical world, learning to walk and talk, conditioned responses, careers, education, relationships. Between 35 and 42, the 6th cycle, or younger, we make a transition to the spiritual triangle. Well, it becomes more predominant. It's already been running. So this is called the midlife crisis, spiritual awakening, dark night of the soul. How many of you guys have been through the dark night of the soul where things got really rough? I mean, it went really dark. And you thought, oh, it's the end of the world. But you're sort of moving through the other side. It's the awakening with the soul. Okay, it says, okay, we figured out how it works down here enough. Now I want to get on with the real mission. It's where you search. Like Svetlana, you thought you were going to go to university, and then your soul kicked and said, oh, no, we're not. We've got something else to do. And you felt it was right. And this is the spiritual triangle activating in you. And this can activate nowadays in people. From a very young teenage years onwards, it can activate really early, because we're at the point now where you don't have to go through a lot of heavy stuff in the physical. So the soul here is wanting to build the spiritual mission on the foundation of the physical energies. And it's hoping you've done enough work on the physical issues, like the physical karma, talents, and goals, which I'll get to. Then it's going to activate that spiritual triangle and get on with the mission. So each triangle has three aspects. So the physical triangle has physical karma, physical talents, and physical goals. And physical karma is a set of unresolved past life issues the soul brings in not to punish you. How many of you guys felt you've been punished by the soul by this lifetime? I did. A lot of the time. I was thinking, oh, this is not good. This is really going badly. It's only there, soul chooses it to train us. It's part of our training. It's not meant to be punishing you. It's just unresolved issues. The soul says, well, I'll look in the Akashic records and I'll pull off this program, this program, this program. And we're going to load it into the contract. And it's going to come out in the form of the name. And it's hoping that out of your free will choice, because you can do whatever you like, Danny, you can ignore this contract completely if you want, but it won't be a very happy life. But if you engage with it and you clear and bring consciousness to the issues layer by layer, like peeling a big onion, ego onion, life starts to get better. Have you noticed that? As you do emotional work, life starts to get better. And so it's hoping that you will transmute all of the physical karma into your positive gift of service in the physical. And we do this by bringing this physical talents. We activate the latent talents, which infuse in here and transmute the karma. If it's a good match, and then as the physical talents activate, that helps you get to the physical goals. It's what excites you, which gets you out of bed in the morning. I mean, I have 8-8, which is about connecting with people. So I love doing these webinars. I've done them for 7-8 years. I don't get bored. It's like I connect to interesting people and, build new relationships with people. Get out there, digitally in this case. So in the physical world, physical triangle, the energy flows from physical karma, talents to goals, with a physical outer world orientation. And in the spiritual side, it flows from spiritual karma to spiritual talents to spiritual goals. And this spiritual karmic pattern is how we disconnect from higher consciousness. So we have a sense that we are separate from God. And the idea of this one is particularly to clear the patterns in the ego. So we open to higher consciousness. And as we clear the ego and open to higher consciousness, what happens then is that we get our spiritual mission starts to download, because it's all being programmed into the quantum field, the fifth dimension. Okay, it's just sitting there, but we have to get clear enough to be able to receive it. Okay. And as this happens, as we get clearer, then we start to deliver this through us. So it's not about us making the mission happen. It's about us getting out of the way and allowing our higher self to deliver what we've already designed before we were born into the world. And the spiritual talents help overcome that if it's a good match. And then that helps us get to the spiritual goals. And if you consciously work on all these 6 outer aspects over time, this is percentage complete. Most people sort of go down here. They don't get a lot done because they don't know what's going on. But if you have this spiritual map of life and you know what's going on, you can then spend 8% of your effort on 20% of the things that matter. So you're going to make a lot more progress. If you work on all these consciously, life's going to get a lot more interesting. Okay? Because what happens then is they contribute to manifesting the soul destiny or the life purpose. And that is revealed to you in layers. You get one layer. The first layer, for example, I found out I had a reading from Frank Alba on this training I did in 1990. He explained I was here to be a spiritual teacher, which is what's happened. And then, the next level, when you clear enough, there's another threshold of more is revealed. It's like, oh, we're going to write a book in 2011. That's when it started. And the book thing started, and the book got published in 2013. And then another layer was we're going to really reach out and reach a lot of people globally with the teaching. And that's been happening in the past 7 years as well. So lots of things happen which you don't expect, but we sort of, as long as we do our work, stay focused on what's coming up for us, it will start to manifest. And there is a plan. Okay. There is a plan, and we designed it a long time ago before we came. So you don't have to work out it in fine detail. We just got to be open to it and clear our issues in terms of getting there. Any questions, people, on that so far? That's the principle of what this is about. Okay. Tamika?
So I noticed you mentioned the law of opposites, right?
Yeah.
And so I did read the book, Happier Than God, I believe, was
That's
it?
the book. That's Happy on God. Yeah.
Right. So I did read it. I had a little bit understanding of it. But if you could explain it a little bit more, that would be good, because what I grasp from it is that, when we're manifesting, right, the law of opposites come into effect, and it's basically something that we don't want, but then we should be grateful for it and practice an attitude of gratitude when it shows up in our lives, right?
Yeah.
And it means that what we're doing is actually working in terms of what we're trying to manifest. But I
Yes.
still was kind of confused. I'm hoping you can break it down some more.
I'll give you an example
Okay, so
of that in action, of how that works.
okay.
So we're focusing, we're doing our manifestation, however you do it. Could be the video I just showed you just before. I had to get a car, okay? And I had a specific model and year and price in mind and condition of the car. Okay, and I was on, in the UK, this thing called Auto Trader, an online car website. And I'd found quite a few cars that I liked the look of. And so I went along and looked at them. And then one of them didn't even have a battery, and it was the back of a warehouse in bad shape, and they were still selling it. So I'm thinking, I must be doing something wrong with my manifestation, because they're getting worse each car I looked at. What's going on? I thought, have I got this wrong? Am I doing the wrong thing? Then Spirit reminded me, it's the law of opposites. Okay, so you're getting everything you don't want, which in other words was a car in bad condition, not working properly. I mean, it couldn't even start it. And once I realized that, I realized Spirit was telling me, you are standing at the gateway of manifesting exactly what you want. And part of me thought, I don't believe that. I mean, look, this is trash. This is trash, this car. This is just rubbish. But I still kept my manifestation up. I went back home, a bit downhearted. Yeah, really downcast. And I still focused on that, on the car I wanted. And the next day, about 11 in the morning, a new car got posted on Auto Trader, which was exactly what I wanted, and it looked in great condition. Okay, I went along that afternoon, and it was the complete opposite of the really trashed out car. So that's how I really learned about it. And I bought that car on the spot, and I've still got it 16 years later. It's still a really good car. So when everything seems to be going wrong in your manifestation, that means you're getting close. When it's getting really bad, it means you're getting close. So you've got to stay focused on what you desire. Because the universe is saying, are you sure, Tamika, you want that? Are you really sure? Because we're going to test you to make sure. And if you have faith, then what you desire will turn up. That's what's going on. That's how I learned that in a quite a powerful way. Does that help? Yeah, that's how it works. And I just read the book. I just read his book, so it was very fresh in my mind what he was saying. So I was grateful for all the steps I had to take leading up to getting that car. And I got exactly what I wanted. It's been a really amazing car. So
Can I ask?
Svetlana?
I'm trying to understand because I don't have the book yet. Is it more about resistance? Is it about you focusing on what you don't have? So that's why it's the opposite? Or
it's this the universe. The universe is a mixture. The universe will manifest the things you don't want. I mean, how many of you guys have been dating recently? You tend to get a lot of people you don't like. Yeah. Okay. But then you get someone you do like. Okay. So, but there's a mixture of the universe provides the opposite of what you want initially to test you, see, is that what you really want? And it will turn up. But the other thing is ego resistance in us. It's like, well, am I worthy of having that car or that boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever? that'll come up as well. So you've got to clear that. That's the other thing in the way of manifestation. But the thing with the soul contract work is it's showing you where you're meant to go by showing you everything you don't like, okay, from a particular karmic pattern. All the negative aspects come up. So when it's going really strong, it's saying, okay, we're making progress because all the bad stuff's coming up, which means we're going to get to the good stuff eventually. It will take time. The main thing is you're on the right track. Okay, you're working your way through the dark karmic stuff, and gradually it gets better. And it will take a lot longer than you'd like, which is normal. We all want it done magically in a minute, but it doesn't happen that way. But the main thing is to persist, because it means you're on the right track. So you're not wasting your energy focusing on things which aren't going to happen. You're focusing on things which are meant to happen. It's just like it can seem you're going along for a while, then suddenly it switches. You can feel the energy shift and realize, oh, this is changing to the positive. But sometimes it's hard to believe because we've been struggling so long at something. And it's about embracing it and then dealing with, oh, am I worthy to have that car or that situation or that relationship or that house or whatever? Is that really going to happen? I did the same. I had to move out of my rental house. England's very expensive to buy houses, and then but I could afford to buy an apartment. So I looked at lots of apartments, and some of them were terrible until I found the one I'm in now, which was amazing. But this was the last one I looked at after 18 of them, and then I realized, I've crossed that threshold into what I desired. There were only 2 that were worth buying out of 18 of them. See, so the main thing is to persist. Don't give up when you're manifesting, and persist in working through your karmic patterns, because you'll know what they are from the contract, even though they may seem, oh, this is insurmountable. They're not. Just the ego will make it out they're bigger than they actually are. They are challenging, but your soul, when he sets it up and gives you the tools, most of the time, it's like caveat, and you should be able to manage it. Okay, you may not feel like it, but if you persist, you'll get there. Does it help? Okay, if you have a vision of that, what's at the center in Italy, if you're meant to do that, stay focused, and then the universe will gradually, as you go through your emotional clearing process and follow your contract, the resources will start to turn up for that. Even though you may think practically, I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, it describes the last 6 years of my life. Yeah,
yeah,
I understand it now.
So stay with it. Stay with it. I mean, I had no intention of buying an apartment, and I realized when the landlord said, we're going to sell the house. I thought, I don't want to go and rent anymore. I decided I needed to buy something. And so the money for the apartment, the deposit turned up within a month out of nowhere because I just focused on it. Okay, my soul said, okay, you have to buy something, you have to ground. It's okay, you have to put roots down. I said, okay, and this is my January, this whole last year completely changed. I thought I was going to stay in this house for quite a while, maybe buy something later when I got a bit more money, but suddenly the universe changed it because my soul said, okay, reach the ground more, get onto the next level of the mission. So I just followed the signature, the spiritual signature, flow of it. Okay, so any other questions so far before we move on?
I have a quick one. It might be a silly one, but is a book a prerequisite to doing the training, the course?
No, you don't have to. It's not. It's good to read it if you got time, but it's not a prerequisite. But it will give you a good structure for it, because the book is based upon the training. Okay. So, but you can come on the training. Some people come literally. I mean, last year someone came. They just got told about it a couple of days before, and they just came. They didn't know anything, but they knew they had to be there. So it's fine to turn up without reading the book, but you'll get more out of it if you do read the book, because you read the book. It gives you a transmission. That's the main thing. The book is a transmission, and then the basic structure of it, we bring it alive on the training. The training is not about going into more detail about the book. It's about sitting in the field of the work for 3 days. And what we do is we take your birth names, and each person in the class, as a case study, and you talk about your numbers. So the way we learn it is you talk about the emotional experience of karmic 9. And everyone in the class will never forget your experience, your expression of that. And that's how they learn. So you receive the transmission from each other. And so you become the work. It's not about knowing the work anymore. Most people who come to this course are very smart, very intelligent people, they can learn well. So it's not about learning more, it's about becoming more. So you become, we activate the 22 numbers in you during the training. Okay, so that's experiential, physical learning. So it's in your cells, in your DNA, it's in your fields, and you've done it in the past. So we reactivate you back into the energy. So being the work is completely different to knowing the work. And then what we do is that we have a day's break because it's quite strong transmission. This is God's energy, 22 frequencies of God. You sit in that for 3 days, it's very strong. So you have a day to rest, and then the next 2 days, we teach you how to hold emotional space to deliver readings to each other. And people are amazed at how much they know. It just comes out of them, it channels. We teach you to surrender, and higher consciousness, higher self just channels through you, and people give amazing readings. Then you realize, I can do this. You may not believe it at this stage, but everyone realizes this is incredible. I can just do this because you've sat in the field for 3 days. It's taken us 35 years to figure out how to teach you this. So you become the work. That's what the training's about. The book is about an introduction to knowing the work. They're two completely different things. Yeah, so you can turn up cold if you want, and if you give it everything you've got, you'll become it, Visionda.
And if I've already had a soul plan reading done, soul contract reading done, does that make a difference to how I then interpret the numbers? Because I've already had someone explain them to me.
Well, you've got a good start, but you'll go deeper into your own chart. That's one of the most fascinating things, because you're going to hear a lot of in-depth discussion, and you're going to hear other people's experiences, and yeah, you'll know yourself even more by being on the training. Some people that's the most important thing for them. They get a lot out of it just by being in the field, because there's only so much you can say in a book. The rest, it's more like a 2D. The best I could do for a book format, but you sit in a 3D, high fifth dimensional field for 5 days, and you really get to know yourself, and you get to know everyone around you. A lot of practitioners analyze all their friends and family. So I have to tell them, you must stop and get some sleep, because they're furiously trying to understand everyone, because once they realize what this is, what it can do. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
So it'll take you from wherever you are to the next level of the work. That's the way it works. Any other questions on that part? On what we've covered so far? Don't hold back. That's why we're here. Okay. So, for example, Darian, how many of you are therapists? Hands up. Darren, you're a therapist. Okay. So if you're a therapist, what it does is it gives you the deepest underlying structure for what your clients, what's creating the symptoms presenting in your clients, which as a therapist is always the mystery, and sometimes like, what is going on? Okay. And then what do I do about it? So this will get to the core programs behind what's presenting to you. Okay. Therefore, you said you were a homeopath. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll know, that's presenting. So you know all your remedies, you're trained in it. So you're going to know much more quickly what's shown, what's presenting, and what you can do about it. So it means you can target your remedies specifically for like unworthiness with a 3, or disempowerment with a 9, or trauma with a 9, or trust issues with a 4. So it means that it combines really well with other therapies, so they can be very focused. And you're going to see your client will move through their different aspects of their chart as they work with you with subsequent sessions. So you can use the soul contract rig as a map of their progression. So it means that it's much easier to work with them, and also because they know it's true and you know it's true, the ego has been disarmed. It can't play games anymore, and you just get on with the important things. So they progress a lot faster, because everyone knows what's going on. Ego can't hide. It can't play illusory games anymore. It will try, and then you're going to get more satisfaction because they're going to make a lot more progress, a lot more quickly. So it's great.
It would definitely be such an amazing tool to have in addition, like, because so many people are their ego doesn't let them talk about the darkness. And so that's very, very helpful.
Yeah. And because of the power of how many of you guys have heard of the book Power versus Force by David Hawkins? It's a book on consciousness. You might want to read it. One of the most brilliant books written about consciousness. He explains how humans work at different consciousness levels.
Would
What
you
do
please repeat?
power
Yeah.
versus force? I'll put it in the chat. It's a very famous, he was an enlightened master. He only died recently. Versus force. Okay, David Hawkins. Okay, and when you read that, you understand why humans work like they do. He talks about a scale of consciousness from, I'll show you. And it's very, very important book. I need to find the diagrams in here. Just scrolling down to find it. Here it is. Okay, I got it. I'm going to share the screen. So he's famous for this, the scale of consciousness he developed. He used muscle testing. Who's familiar with muscle testing? Kinesiology, okay. He used muscle testing to muscle test for these different states of being. So this is a logarithmic scale. 1,000 is like Jesus and Christ and Buddha, Krishna. And down here, there's shame, all the negative emotions, which are below 200 on the scale. He did this with thousands of people. And we have all these things like pride and anger, desire, all the lovely things you deal with as a therapist. And we have these higher consciousness states of being like love, reason, joy, peace. It's also truth. So what happens is that the ego's cruising around down here and all these negative emotions, and it fluctuates where we are on the scale, okay, depending on the day. And what we're doing with this work is you're bringing truth, 600 on the David Hawkins scale, into the consciousness of the ego. You're infusing this high frequency energy in. And what that does is that raises the frequency of your client, and it transmutes all these negative emotions. When you bring truth in, egos, all its games, these low frequency programs start to dissolve, start to come up. So what you're doing with the reading is that you're transmitting truth in, and it's disarming the ego, which makes your life as a homeopath in this case, Darren, a lot easier. So you're not having to deal with this, the fight. You have your fight sometimes with some people because the ego's going, no, not letting you into this one, and you know something there, but you can't get to it. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. So you're using this tool to bring light and consciousness, which makes it a lot easier to work with people. It's easier for them as well, because once the truth has come out from the contract, the ego can't hide it anymore, you see? And so you've taken them to another level in terms of working with someone. Okay, so it's the thing we do all the time. When I used to do a lot more sessions, like healing sessions, I'd start off with a soul contract reading because I would find out what's going on. Client finds out what's going on, and we've basically gone and dissolved a whole bunch of illusory programs just by talking about the truth. And ego's been trying to hide it from the client their entire life. You see, so you get in there a lot quicker, and the ongoing work is much easier because you have a map. You can see how far they've progressed, and you can see where they want to go. So everyone's life is easier. Everyone's a lot happier. Okay. All right. So, any other questions before I do the next bit? Everyone's okay with that? Okay. So, we'll do the next thing here. Find the right chart. So here. So we'll do a little demo reading here, because some people watching this haven't done this beforehand. Who would like a brief reading of their name? Who hasn't had it done? Okay. Darian, hand up. Good.
I've done it on myself, but I would love to, have someone else do it.
Have you done it on yourself? Okay. Yeah, you put your hand up first, so you're first in, first serve here. So let me just find my software to run on this. Hang on. Here it is. So this is soul contract.
Software? Is this your software? This
Yeah,
is
it's
what
web-based. It's called soulcontractreader.com. You get four charts free, so you can basically generate your chart. Okay.
I did mine, and then a ton of friends and my kids and my husband. But yeah.
You've used it before, have you?
Yes. And so this is my married name, Taylor. So I'll give you my my maiden name.
Yeah, what's that?
Forceland. I just put it in the chart.
And then we get to the chat. Okay, so is there a middle name?
Yes, Jade, Jade.
Okay. I should switch a fan on. My computer's starting to get hot. Just a sec. Okay. I'm not going to put your birth date on because it's data protection since it's public video. But if you could give me a birth sign, if you're willing to, I'll put that in there. There we go. Okay. So you've consented, you're okay with that. Today is the 22nd. Okay. Software is really useful because it means that we teach you how to do it manually in the book, but by doing it here, it's much more accurate. Okay, so the way it works is that we convert your name. There's a correlation between 22 Hebrew letters and 26 English alphabet letters, sounds, because some of them are used multiple times. And so the software basically breaks it down into the Hebrew sounds, which are pretty straightforward in this case. And then in Hebrew, numbers and letters have the same frequency. So numbers aren't allocated like normal, say, Pythagorean numerology. They're inherent within, this is Dalet in Hebrew, this is Aleph. You get a bunch of Hebrew numbers coming out. So it's very simple. We just start at physical karma and allocate these numbers in a clockwise spiral going around the star. So we have here 4, 1, 20, 10, 4, 1, 20, 10, 1, 14, 1, 14. So we use the first 6 numbers. And we repeat it again and we keep going around till we use them all up. And then what we do is we add the numbers up. So spiritual karma, the total is 17. And because it's between 1 and 22, we have channelings from the soul of Moses, which tells us what a 17 means in this position. There's another number over here, which is found by simply going 1 plus 7 is 8. Okay. So a frequency of a 17 and a frequency of an 8. We use English numbers in this case, but they're Hebrew frequencies, really. So there's a 17 here, okay, and there is an 8 here. So you're here to experience the whole range of expression, Darian, plus every blend in between. In the case of, say, let's call it a double number. In the case of physical karma, the total is 34, which has no meaning in itself. So we have to reduce it to the first number between 1 and 22. So we'll simply go 3 plus 4 equals 7. And 7 can't be reduced anymore, so we've got another 7 there. It's got a double number. There's only one frequency. There's no range of expression like a 17-8 here. Soul saying, Darian, I want you to focus on 7s only in physical karma. I don't want the range of expression like the 17-8 in spiritual karma. And then we work out the other numbers accordingly. We take these numbers. Physical numbers go to the top half of this table. Spiritual numbers go to the bottom half. And then we add them up. Get the 60 and the 42. And then we reduce them. We just reduces to the first number between 1 and 22. 6 plus 0 is 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. That's the soul destiny, and that pops in the middle there. And these channel symbols here are basically like gateways. So it's transmitting to us what's in your actual chart. So it brings it alive. So the easiest way to do this is just a brief reading. I'll say a little bit about each aspect. What is the main question you have about your life, Darian, at the moment?
Right now, a lot of working on finding my authenticity, because there's been a lot of years of being convinced by other people to be what they want me to be. And so I'm trying to learn myself and who I am. So that's my main concern right now.
Okay.
I know what I'm here to do. I just need to be authentic in that.
Okay. So what are you here to do? What's your understanding of that so far? Because then I've got a baseline to work from.
For me, my understanding is I'm here to heal people, but I'm also here to help teach people to heal themselves, to empower people.
Okay. All right. So in physical karma, you have a 7. And this is saying here, there's a wounded heart within you, which is hiding the inner child away. There's a public facade that the ego puts out, because the inner child is scared of being rejected. Again, that may come from the 9, which is disempowerment here, which is why, even though it's a talent, there's still a disempowering part of it. Okay, so your job here is to heal whatever trauma you have from childhood, of disempowerment. So what happened is briefly.
For me, it wasn't trauma with parents. It was a lot of trauma with friends and being put down and bullied and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so the key to this authenticity is to heal whatever trauma's left. How old are you now, can I ask?
31.
And how long have you been on the path doing this work?
Well, since 28.
Okay, so you've been doing quite a lot by the sounds of it.
I'm trying.
Okay, so heal whatever trauma's left. Nights take a while because it's dealing with what we call a shadow destroyer archetype. And as you heal that trauma and come more into your power, and this is the reason you've got it, so you can empower others, which you said is one part of your purpose. Then you're going to start to feel safe to drop the facade and heal the inner child who didn't feel safe in the world as a result of the trauma. So these two merge and you become one person. And you start to express your true feelings and thoughts, the authentic feelings and thoughts. And as you do that, that's going to magnetize people to you, professionally and personally. How's your network so far?
Slow so far. I just graduated, so still
Okay. So the key for your business and your personal need to be authentic is to heal the remaining trauma. And then you start to show yourself. You'll be visible, then all sorts of people are going to turn up. And the team you're here to work with, where your mission will start to turn up. So
I have visions a lot of holding my childhood self. So it's very interesting that this is.
Yeah, that's the inner child work, or however you do that's key. This is the key to the whole thing. Authenticity. So do your best to express yourself authentically at all times. Because as you do that with an open heart, it opens the heart of others around you. Because they either open their hearts or they have to leave, because you're coming from a place of truth, which is 600 on the David Hawkins scale, and love, which is 500, unconditional love, 540. So it's very powerful. And you're quite safe being in your truth. Okay.
Very cool.
And the other part of the authenticity is the 5s. The 5s is very etheric energy. It's pure spiritual energy coming from the high dimensions. It's abstract. It's very sensitive. You're very empathic. Yeah. You're here to ground that 5 and express pioneering truth in the world, authentic truth, and to speak the truth no matter what, which may have got you in a lot of trouble as a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the other part of the authenticity. Okay, so that involves clearing past life issues of persecution for speaking the truth. You're probably a witch or a wise woman or medicine woman.
I have a line of medicine women and witches. Yes.
Got in a lot of trouble for doing that. Okay, so that's the other part of the authenticity. That's in the physical chart. In spiritual karma, it's a 17.8, and this is about learning to ground here. You don't come here very often. So the 17 is about learning to ground, having clear boundaries, relating to society, reaching out to people with a symbolic right hand, and expressing the word of God, 17, in a grounded way. And the 16.7 here is about taking spiritual concepts, high-level spiritual concepts, bringing them down to the earth plane and expressing them in plain English with an open heart. Okay? And the spiritual goals are a 6. This is about getting very focused. Do you have a lot of creative ideas?
Very
Yeah.
much.
It's about taking all those creative ideas, okay, and they're going to send you off in lots of different creative directions, and focusing on the one that opens your heart the most, and taking small, manageable steps by staying focused to actually achieve that. Because if you try and do them all, it's going to drive you crazy because you're going to get pulled in all those directions at once because there isn't enough time. Okay. And the 6 here, so the power to manifest is very strong in you because of the 6. You just focus on what you desire, it'll turn up. But it's important to focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah, that's the issue.
That's the issue, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 6 here in Soul Destiny is saying there's something very specific you're here to do. Okay. So it may be the empowerment, but you're here to do something very specific with the spiritual energy. Okay. Does that help?
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay. Right. So this is for the guys who have not seen the work before. This is how it works. Any questions on that, anybody, on that process?
Is it possible to do that for someone else, or?
We may not have enough time, but I want to
Okay.
make sure there's enough questions. If there's time, I can go through it quickly, Svetlana, but I want to make sure everyone's got their questions answered.
Yeah.
Okay. Usually it's just time for one. So, okay. Any questions in general? Some of you had other questions about anything. Now
When you're doing the reading, so you do all the physical things first,
yes,
and
you
then you
start.
go through and do the spiritual.
Yeah, you go this one, this one, this one. Then you do this one, and this one. You do this one.
Okay.
You go in sequence. We teach you how to do that on the training. You go in that sequence. Okay, because it's got to build up, and it's a logical way to do it. Okay, that's what we teach you in the training.
Very cool. Do you do training, like, is it specific times? Do you do specific, like, is there intakes at certain times, or is it year round?
We do two Western Hemisphere trainings a year.
Okay.
I'll show you. Because the schedule's very busy. I've just got to find my PowerPoint. So we are funny today. So the spring training, we'll run one in spring and the other one in autumn. Okay. So the spring training runs, it's Friday, it's 26th to 28th, which is probably Wednesday to Friday, I think. Saturday off, and 2nd and 3rd of March. It's either the Saturday or the Sunday off. So that's the one that runs on Zoom. Okay. What time zone are you in?
Mountain time.
Okay, so it will start at 5:30 Mountain Time because we have to run from west coast of North America out to Eastern Europe and Middle East. So it would run from 5:30 to about 1:30 in the afternoon, your time. People used to fly here for it, but we do everything on Zoom now. And I can only we could teach from 12:30 to 8:30 p.m. It's 4 1.5-hour slots. There's two 20-minute breaks and one hour meal break. So in Europe, it would be 1:30 to 9:30 p.m. But this is the latest I can teach, which is why we do that. So it covers the Western Hemisphere. And then we teach another one like around October. Okay. And if anyone's watching this and they're interested in, they're in Asia, India, out to Australia, out to Southeast Asia. This doesn't work for North America because you have to start at midnight. The Asia Pacific stream runs here. A lot of people in Australasia come, and especially 29th to 31st of May, one day off for a break. integrate in 2nd to 3rd of June. That runs on the Asia Pacific stream. So we start at 6 a.m., which is the earliest I can teach, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. in England. In Australia, it runs on the East Coast from 3 to 11 p.m. New Zealand, 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. We get people from Southeast Asia, and the Middle East coming on us one. India, 10:30, 6:30 p.m. Malaysia, 1 to 9 p.m. So it's all doable. That's why we do that. That runs once a year. But some North American clients come because they want it. They can't wait till October. So some come, they start at midnight and they don't care. They just want to do it. That's how strong the pull is. I was a bit surprised by that. Okay.
So may I ask, between those dates that it is available, is it once a week or
No, it is
daily?
3 days in a row.
3 days in a row?
26, 27, 28.
Okay.
1 day off.
These are 2 different days. Okay.
And then 2nd and 3rd of March. This is the entire training. It's 5 days with a 1 day break in the middle.
Okay.
So it takes, so you need to have set aside those 6 days and a couple of days afterwards just to integrate, because it's very powerful. You need a couple of days just to rest. Not advisable to go back to work or study, because you'll get roasted by the energy, because you're sitting in the frequencies of God for 5 or 6 days effectively. Okay.
I have another question.
Go for it. That's what we do.
For this reading that you were explaining on Darian's example, I was just curious, since I don't have the book yet, how much of that is covered in the book? Like the explanation of these symbols and stuff, just out of curiosity.
All that is explained in the book. And
it's all like in details. You don't have to go to a course.
Well, you can't, if you want to be a practitioner,
of course.
The book does not turn you into a practitioner, because you've got to sit in the field and you've got to practice giving the readings, and basically you've got to become it, which the book won't do. The book will give you a good transmission of how it works, a good start. But some people have tried to give readings from the book and they do reasonably well, but when they come on the course, they realize it's a quantum leap far beyond the book when they come on the training, because the book is as much as I could squeeze in to give people a taste, but the transmission of the training is where you become it. You can't become it from the book. And you can't learn the technique for holding space and delivering reading from a book.
No, of course. I was just curious, could you understand some basics of it?
It gives you enough knowledge to basically do your own reading and understand friends and family and the principles of how it works. The book is you get a lot from the book, but the training is another level. It's becoming. The book is about knowing, and the training is about becoming it.
Okay, thank you very much.
By sitting in the field. Okay. Any other questions so far?
Sorry, when are you doing it again? If not February, when is the next one that's not in non-Asian Pacific time? When is the next?
I'll have to look it up. Just sit. Let me take a look for you. I can't remember off the top of my head the exact dates. I will tell you, Janaki. I'll just look at my calendar. I'll get back to you guys in a sec. I think it's sometime in September, October. Okay. Where are we? It's here. I think it's in September, earlier in September. Okay, so the one in October, the Western Hemisphere one, is 19th to the 21st of September and the 23rd and 24th of September. Okay. All right. So we only run it twice a year, Western Hemisphere, because I have a lot of other trainings. I've got to run the higher level trainings. There's only so much I can cover in the time we have. Okay.
And after you do this training, you're a practitioner in it.
Yeah, you can. You've got to. we recommend doing 5 case studies where we have a form where you put down how you're doing on five practice readings, and we give you feedback as part of the training. It's not school only, but you can, you should be in, if you give enough time, energy, dedication to the training and practice afterwards, you can go off and use it. Or we will certify you once you've done the 5 case study, because then we need to see how well you've mastered it. So it's good to go with a bit of practice.
Yeah, I'm gonna manifest it for September.
What's that?
I'm manifesting it for September.
Okay. We have payment programs for if you want as well. If you want to pay over 3 or 4 months on pay, we use PayPal Pay Later. It's the other way to do it. If you're a bit impatient, it's available. Okay, that's on the website when you book. You can just check. They do a little credit check, PayPal. So that's the other way to do it.
Awesome.
Just a few more things about the training when we're talking about this. Okay, so where was I? Okay. So just to sort of summarize what you get from the training, you get the transmission of the structure, how to understand yourself and everyone else. You'll be able to deliver readings, and you'll learn to trust your channel in that process. It's like a dance from spirit, really, this thing. Okay. It's about actually letting go and letting higher consciousness come through the structure of this when you're delivering the work. So you have the experiential learning we mentioned. It's a bodily transmission. Yeah. And we have ongoing support. We have a Facebook practitioner Facebook support group where lots of experienced practitioners can help you. We have a Zoom support program, an additional paid for program. It's optional to support you as you get up and running, because there's a big learning curve. And then also we have a thing called marketing and manifesting your business, how to actually become a spiritual entrepreneur with this sort of work. Okay, we give you the 5th dimensional structure of the unity conscious love-based way of doing business. We can teach you that as well. It's a follow-on course if you're interested. Because our aim is to get you out there, really. And what happens when you deliver readings after doing the course is that you will get a feeling of deep peace, because you've shared the truth of who they are with them. They feel relieved that there's actually an order to the craziness of their life. And those who feel like victims in life can take charge. They can become empowered to step forward into their true purpose. And so you'll learn how to show them where they are on their spiritual map of life. And you'll learn how to give very specific recommendations how to overcome the challenges that they're facing in the current present moment, and how to manifest more of their dreams. And we teach you how to align them to their life purpose with the way you use the recommendations. And you can touch their inner being very deeply and profoundly. And it builds a really strong connection with people in your ongoing work with them, with your other therapies. And also opens you to a deeper level of yourself and connects to others, and have compassion for people if you need more of that, because it's very challenging down here. Okay. And it is experiential, as we said, so you're preparing and giving readings to the group, so you can deliver them shortly afterwards, and you just need to practice that. Okay. So that's the sort of summary of bits and pieces of what we said. Is there any other questions about the training or the book?
I have a question, and it's in relation to the divine healing.
Yeah, go for it, Tejanda.
So I've had soul plan, soul contract readings done, obviously for myself, for members of my family, for my children. And then I've also had divine healing to transmute aspects of my soul chart.
Yeah.
So going forward with this, would you recommend to do all of because there's different soul contract reading levels as well. There's 1, 2, and 3. Is that right?
Yeah, the first one is just how to give a good birth chart reading, which is more than enough to absorb. And when you've got enough practice with that, then there's level 2, which is about how to look at the relationships between people, which is always the most interesting thing, because when you've given a reading, clients say, okay, tell me about my family, Tejanda. How does it work? because this is the biggest challenge I've got. So we teach you how relationships work and the effect of different names people have through time. So that's when it gets really interesting, how to consciously parent children. Parents always ask, what do I do about these kids? Really challenging, some people. And level 3 is business, where we teach you how to help light workers and yourself come up with the optimal legal and trading names, the website names, product names to attract the right type of ideal, what we call client avatar, the ideal client that you love to work with. So that's really fun, because we tend to actually optimize all the practitioners who turn up their businesses. So their businesses are really tuned up, and it's good, a lot of fun, because they get to really maximize their potential by having the right set of energies, attracting energies in their businesses. And that's just purely everyone. If there's usually plenty of people. Hopefully everyone gets a turn. But if it gets too big, we have to pick a few people. Mostly people get to optimize their businesses. And so then that's what we call fire and forget marketing. Because if you get the numbers right, the frequencies right, it'll just draw people. I mean, we never use search engine. We didn't pay for Google ads or worry about search engine optimization, because the energy of the work by the right numbers, frequencies in our business names does the work anyway. Okay. We get like 30 to 50% open rates on emails because the right frequency is in the header. You can do stuff like that. I think one of my practitioners, one of her clients, got 60% open rate on the email list. So that's unheard of. Okay, well, that's the sort of magic you can do with this stuff for your business.
So would you recommend then you do the 3 levels before you go on to divine healing?
People tend to do soul contract, and they realize, I need to have a tool to help my clients work through the stuff that's come up in the first reading. So then a lot of people tend to do divine healing 1 at least. So then they have the soul contract structure. As I said before with Darren, we know what's going on, we know where they are, and we apply divine healing, in this case, to the issues which are coming up. The client gets clear, they feel better, life progresses, they come back for more, so it creates more repeat business. Okay, so people tend to do divine healing and soul contract in parallel, depending on what feels right. So it's just a matter of what opens your heart the most, Vijinda. Okay.
When is the I know there's a webinar, is it tomorrow for the divine healing?
I think so, yeah, I think there's another one, yeah.
Okay.
There's one
So I'll save my questions for tomorrow then. I'll try and
yeah,
log
you
on
can ask
tomorrow.
me on that one.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question, like with the wording in the book, like one thing with some number, I don't remember which one, also in connection to divine healing, it's saying seeing, like the problem is seeing the world as it truly is.
What number is that, Giddy?
I don't remember now, seeing the world as it truly is. It's a number I have in my chart, but I don't know which one.
Is it an 11? Is it an 11 or a 2?
Yes, might be an 11. But what does that mean? Because everyone sees the world in a very subjective way, and then seeing the world as it truly is, I don't understand what that means.
It means for the 11, the specific lesson for an 11 is to see the world as it truly is. Okay, because they have a different view of the world. Okay, 11s often get a fixed view depending on their karmic patterning. It's a certain way than when it's actually not. Okay, they may see it as benevolent, but actually the world is a lot more hazardous than benevolent, the way it's worked out. So it takes some time to transmute that, to see the truth of what's going on. Okay?
But but the truth is so subjective. So what is the truth?
Well, the thing is that 11s have a specific structure of how they come in with a specific karmic structure of what they believe the world is. And the lesson for that is to dismantle that structure to see the truth of what's actually there. So don't worry about the subjectivity for other people, but 11 is particularly strong in terms of shifting from one belief system to another. Okay.
Okay, which also is then the same as illusions related to physical reality, right?
Yeah, well, they see it in a very specific way because it's left and right eyes in 11 and a 2. So they'll see it. To them, it'll just seem this is the way it is until they discover actually it's not. And then they'll move to what they do. They'll move to the truth of what's going on.
Okay, and if I would address that in divine healing, then I would say, I want to work on seeing the world as it truly is, or
Yes,
probably.
you set that intention, Giddy, and then you'll start to dissolve the programs which are creating the illusion of to dissolve the structures in the 11 which hold strongly that it's a certain way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Did any other questions, anyone, including Giddy? Oh, you had a few. Okay, Tamika, another one?
Yes, so I wanted to really understand the dominant vibration because, like in the book, it says that if you have these numbers that show up, right, it means that you're heavily exposed to these energies. And so, what does that mean? Is it that it's going to keep coming at me until I overcome it, or is it a positive energy? I'm
You said
confused.
you had 4 14s in your.
I had 14.
What's that?
14, I think it was 14 when I did it myself.
Have you got 4 of them? Have you?
Yes, it was
Okay.
more than.
Yeah, I've never seen one of those. It's unusual. So what it means is that the soul is saying, I want you to pay attention to the 14 frequency, which is reflected being. Okay. And the channel message, which is in the book, okay, is like a message from God, sort of written in a biblical way. It's to remind you why you came in the first place. Most of us forget. And have you read it in the book? Dominant Vibration of 14? You've gone on mute.
Sorry, I didn't understand that because I'm looking at 14 and it says reflection and intensity in relationships.
Yes, it's creating intense relationships with others to mirror to you parts of yourself you haven't seen before. So do you have intense relationships with people? Do they show you new things about yourself?
I haven't seen that, but I know, and I don't have the paper in front of me, but when I did it, one of the signs was where I would always experience trauma in relationships. So I know that. And one of the symbols. So in terms of work and things like that, I always have some level of trauma on the job. And I was like, oh my God. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, yeah. But I don't know if that's me having to learn from these relationships.
Well, it's about learning about yourself in these intense traumatic relationships. Okay. Discovering yourself, because by yourself you can't know who you are, but in these intense relationships you find out who you are. And the channeling of the 14 basically is God saying to you, just to remind you why you came to Earth. So have look that up in the book, and and it often touches people at a very deep level. People often cry when they read that. Okay.
I probably got to go back and reread it.
You have to go and reread it. Yeah. Let me get the book here. Right, I'll look it up. Tell you where to go in the book. Just a minute. Okay, so the channelings are on page 172 in the book. And the 14 is on page 178. Okay.
178?
178 in the book. That's the dominant vibration of 14. So you read, that's called the word. You read that later. See how you feel about that. So it's God's reminding you why you came. Why, the reason for coming. Okay.
All right, thanks. I'll take my time and read it again.
You need to read it in a quiet space. It can be quite strong. Or read it out loud to yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Any other questions or comments, people? This has been a good session. Another 10 minutes, make the most of it. Anything else you want to ask? Don't hold back.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
Also, what I don't understand, what does emotionally resilient mean?
It means that when you receive an emotional shock, Getty, you learn to bounce back from it rather than being sort of the spring of the two being squashed down and you can't move.
Okay.
And you're sort of in shock and you go, oh my God, what just happened then? So it's about bouncing back and more. Okay. How are you doing with that when you have a shock?
Yeah, I am I'm in shock then. It's very true.
Okay, so you still learn to be resilient. Okay, so
Yeah.
still work in progress. Okay.
So then it's also like with the divine healing, then working on being more emotional resilient, right?
Well, you need to do shock and trauma release and divine healing too from level 2.
Okay.
Clear whatever emotional load is in you, squashing your little spring of the 2.
Yeah, amazing. Okay.
Yeah, so whatever is behind that shock, clear that, because then the spring of the 2 will move up and down more. And then you'll bounce back faster. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, anybody? Sounds like we're done. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for the great session, guys. Good questions. Thanks for turning up and showing yourselves. If you have any other questions, just email me, and hopefully we see some of you on the training. It's good fun, life transforming, and you better go out there in the world and wake up a lot more light workers and help them manifest their purpose, which is why we train you. So we're just looking for good people to help out, raise consciousness on it. Okay, so we'll have the video out to you in a few days. We'll sort of process it and get it sorted out on YouTube. Okay? All right. Thank you, everybody. Well, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.